What's going on, everyone? Carlos here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to bring complexity into your kettlebell training with the Steel Club. We're seeing a popularity of Steel Club training, especially with the kettlebell community. I wanted to show some of my kettlebell people ways that I incorporate my Steel Club with basic kettlebell movement patterns like the kettlebell clean. So the low and medium anchored kettlebell and Steel Club movement, I'm going to demonstrate these first, and then we're going to talk about it. So the low anchor is probably the easiest out of the low and the medium anchor options. The reason being is because the setup is easy. All you do is you step up to your club and you stand all the way up, just as if you were performing a deadlift. The important part here is just making sure that you have a good rack position when you're picking up your kettlebell. So just like you normally would, you're 12 to 18 inches behind the bell. I'm snapping the bell back into the hike position. I like going thumb to bum and then coming up into a strong rack position or a strong clean position. So here, abs are tight, I come back and I stand all the way up. Here I have a good rack position. I'm going to step forward and then I'm going to pick up my club. Now obviously the complexity of this can change depending on how heavy this kettlebell is or how heavy the club is. From here, I'm going to start to perform my kettlebell cleans. Now as I'm doing this, I'm not rushing through any of these movements. I always want to find my definitive start and stop points. So here, chest is proud, shoulders are back, abs are on. I come into this clean position. I make sure I have a good kettlebell wrist, right? My wrist isn't broken. Good kettlebell wrist, and I'm coming back into this clean position. My elbow stays right on my rib, and then as you're putting this down, what you can do is you can either set this club down and then set your bell down, or you can do it vice versa, whatever you're more comfortable with. That is the low anchor kettlebell clean using your Steel Club. The medium anchor is a little bit more complex in the fact that when you are doing the medium anchor, you're sitting in this order position. Now with Steel Clubs, the order position is very similar to your rack position with kettlebells. This is an active resting point for anyone that's doing kettlebell training or Steel Club training. Rack position, order position, the exact same thing, just with different tools. So as you're doing this order position, you want to keep a couple things in mind, and you want to try this and make sure that you understand this before you start adding weight of a kettlebell or an additional club or whatever that may be. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have full grip confirmation. I like going pinky to pommel. Some people like to choke up a little bit. It's really preference. I go pinky to pommel, full grip confirmation. I like to cant my Steel Club just a tad bit back, but I also marry my elbow to my rib and I keep this 90-degree position in my elbow joint. I don't want anything like here where I'm starting to look like the Statue of Liberty. At the same time, I'm keeping my abs on, I'm keeping my chest nice and proud, and I'm staying strong in this position here. Now from here, once I have this position set, I'm gonna pick up your club, or you're gonna pick up your kettlebell. From here, you can reach down to pick up your kettlebell and then come back up into this rack position, or you can start by picking your kettlebell up first and then working your way to your club. It's really going to be preference, but it's also going to be weight of the club. Right now I have 15 pounds, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18 and a half pounds on my club. So if I were to do so, it starts to be a little bit challenging when I'm trying to pick this up. I'm going to have to be behind it. I'm going to have to come back and then get into this order position to start my movements. From here, you want to make sure that you have all of your landmarks dialed in. So my rack position is good. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a kettlebell wrist, right? I'm not looking for a broken wrist. I'm making sure that my elbow is married to my rib Chest is proud, shoulders are back, and then from here, I'm going now to my club order position. The club order position, I'm making sure I have full grip confirmation with my hand. My pinky is to my pommel. I have a 90 degree bent in my elbow joint, and my elbow is married to my rib. From here, I start to perform my medium anchor kettlebell clean. Now this can get really hard. I highly recommend everyone start at 3.5 pounds to 5 pounds at first, just to understand the movement and then work their way up. Notice as I do this medium anchor clean, I'm doing my best to stabilize the club in the order position. From there, what you're gonna do is drop your kettlebell and then safely put both pieces of equipment down. That is your medium anchor, which is going to be a little bit more difficult than a low anchor, depending on some of the weight that you use. As you can see, once you start doing this, it opens up a variety of movement patterns and workouts that you can do, because not only can you do cleans, you can think about doing shoulder presses, you can think about doing inside circles, you can think about doing outside circles while keeping an anchor position. Also keep in mind that the anchor doesn't necessarily need to be the club. You could reverse this and the kettlebell could be the anchor and the movement could be done with your club. So the exact same principles apply. If I wanted to come and let's just say I wanted to do a side swing or maybe even a clean to order position, but I wanted to do a low anchor. Step up to the bell, grab this up, making sure you have full tension here, chest is proud. All the exact same landmarks and principles apply. All you're doing is reversing it. So here, if I want to do a swing clean to order, all the same principles apply. And same thing when you want to put it down, put your bell down, hike back, and then set your club down. That is one way that I think a lot of kettlebell people and a lot of my kettlebell people, I think if they were to see and understand how the club can make your kettlebell movements much better and it can make you much stronger of a person as an athlete, I think a lot more people would start to get into club bell training. Guys, that's all we got for today. If you guys have any questions about any of these movement patterns, please let me know. Leave them in the comments and we'll be happy to answer those. See you later.